In this video, I'm going to show you how to bike with your dog safely. Safer than that. Yes, treat. Magnus and I bike first thing every morning. He burns a lot of mental and physical energy. Compared to a regular morning walk, biking with your dog can more efficiently exercise your dog's body and brain and be more fun for you both. If you've ever encouraged your dog to chase a squirrel up a tree, you're going to have to take a step back and untrain him of that. Otherwise, your dog should be able to walk well on a leash, know basic commands, and accept a harness. Several steps. Each step might take anywhere from a minute to weeks. Master each one before moving to the next. Introduce your dog to the bike. Then walk your dog and bike together, placing yourself between the dog and the bike at first. When the dog is comfortable with this, walk with the bike between you and your dog. You can practice left and right turns throughout each of the steps, so the dog can learn to slow down on left turns and speed up on right turns. Next, just sit on the bike and push yourself forward without pedaling, keeping your dog in the heel position beside you. If you're using a dog biking attachment, connect it to your dog's harness and keep practicing. While you're sitting on the bike, the attachment will give you stability if and when your dog veers off to the left. You can also use the same collar and leash you use on your walks. This is a team effort. If you get stuck, take a step back, master the previous steps, and advance at a later time. There is no one right way to do this. It took us a lot of trial and error, as you will see. The equipment and techniques you use should match your dog's size, temperament, and level of obedience, your physicality and biking skills, the type of bike you're going to ride, and the environment where you're riding. Magnus and I have experimented over the years, and here are a few of our trials and errors. Very cute. But let's fast forward. Even more. Now he's grown enough to bike. Here I have his harness connected to both the leash and the bike connector. Because I'm holding the leash and the handlebar in my left hand, the leash would flap around Magnus's face, and either he'd try to get his head on the wrong side of it or he'd bite it. And he's nibbling on the bike. With this setup, I have no way to correct him. Here I've switched to a metal leash. Here I'm trying an air spray corrector and holding it in my left hand along with a leash which is attached to a choke collar. I dumped the air spray corrector and switched his choke collar with a pinch collar. See, I give him a small leash correction because he shouldn't be staring at the little yapper across the street. Here's a good setup. He has an e-collar and has been properly conditioned to it. I hold the transmitter in my left hand. The leash is fairly short, loops through my wrist, and attaches to a pinch collar so I can use my left hand and arm to control and correct the dog in two ways, steering with my right. He is wearing a harness which is attached to the bike connector and is wearing a coat over that because it's cold. It's best to hold the leash loose by your left side, just like you're walking with him, and steer with your right hand. Eventually, you might get rid of the bike connector. Your dog is vulnerable to attack by other dogs when he is connected to the bike because in his response, he's going to get all twisted up in the flexible cord that's attached to his harness. Now I like to just use his e-collar and a leash attached to either a pinch collar or his flat collar. If we ride off leash, I'll just use his e-collar, but increase voice commands and give him occasional kibble treats as we ride. If you can bike safely with your dog, it can be a game changer in your relationship and your work-dog balance. And you will both have more fun together. More biking tips coming in part 2. Contact us at Canine and Career for help to bike with your dog safely.